Today's lecture addresses the critical hidden force behind trading performance, that is anxiety. This is a very, very important topic or lecture that would have cost you a lot of money just to learn this, but I'm going to give it all here for free. So, the best thing you can do for me is hit that like and subscribe button. And without wasting time, my name is Rocky Calvin, and I want us to get straight into it. Now, most traders often think that their problem is strategy, and that's why they do hop from one strategy to another. But the problem is often state management. Now, we have two traders. They all use the same model, same entry, same risk parameters. One executes with precision, while the other you'll find sabotages. His trades through hesitation. Revenge trading and premature exits because they're just afraid they might lose money, and they they have all these this anxiety going on inside them. So the difference is often neurological. It's not something that's being controlled by, for example, the model. For example, it is neurologically affected or neurologically instigated. So anxiety itself is not just emotions. For example, it is a predictive survival response, most of the time generated by the nervous system whenever uncertainty is interpreted as a threat. So, and the markets are they're uncertain. You don't know what's going to happen next. You see, for example, if I'm trading right here, for example, I'm in some shorts right here. I don't know if it's gonna work or not. Right now, the market it's closed. You see, when it opens, Trump might just say something, and automatically it goes against me. So these markets are being driven by uncertainty. We don't know what's gonna happen next. Okay. Now, what does the brain usually respond to this type of uncertainty? It gives this survival response, and this often most of the time ends up manipulating our own game. So the professional task is not to eliminate anxiety, but it is to reframe anxiety into heightened focus. So, under this lecture, we're going to be focusing on transforming trading anxiety into focus through advanced neurological framing techniques. So, I've already described what trading anxiety neurologically. This is something usually being known being associated with state management. It is not about strategy. It's not about the model. And I've given a good example. We have two traders, both of them same model, same risk management, same entry, and you find one trade is gonna be sabotage his own trade through hesitation, revenge trading, premature exits and so on. And I believe a lot of traders, if you're a trader, maybe definitely you've done this in the past, or maybe you're still going through this, whereby you find that once you're in a trade, you're always in fear of losing money, fear of it might reverse against you. But I want you to understand something first thing. These markets that we do trade, they are being controlled by uncertainty. We're not sure of what's going to happen. It's a matter of probability in this game. Now, I want us to go into understanding trading and trading anxiety, neurologically, right? So, trading anxiety, first of all, trading anxiety activates three major systems. So the first one is amygdala threat response. Amygdala threat response. Let me put down. It's supposed to be amygdala threat response. Okay. So we're gonna be focusing on the amygdala. Amygdala. It's supposed to be amygdala. The amygdala threat response. Now, the amygdala threat response works in this manner. So the brain, first of all, detect possible loss. Remember, this loss has not yet happened. For example, I'm in a trade. I'm giving an example here. I'm selling right now gold. I'm expecting to go lower, but I have this possible. The brain is detecting possible loss based on maybe what Trump said over the weekend, and I'm like, what if these things just jump up? I'm not ready to lose this. So the brain detects that possible loss. Then the second thing that the brain also detects is the uncertainty. Uncertainty. For example, I'm not sure if it's gonna go to take profit maybe down here. I'm not sure about that. Then lack of control is the third, detection that the brain does under amygdala threat response. So under lack of control in this situation is whereby you're already in this trade. You can't control the outcome. Now it treats them similarly to physical danger. So like the way our brain have been have been coded or how they worked, the work is that when you're walking and all of a sudden let's assume something scares you or somebody scares you, your brain automatically gets into that defensive mode either by running away or fighting this person or this threat automatically. You don't even have room for thinking, most of the time, and so on. It's the same thing if you're operating somewhere, and you do not realize that something is hot. Then you went ahead and touched it, a surface that was hot. What does your brain do? Or how does your body react? Automatically, it treats it as a physical danger, and you react in a manner that you are trying to avoid this danger or trying to apprehend it. Okay? So it's the same way your brain usually treats trading under amygdala threat response. Okay? Now, the result of this most of the time, we're going to tunnel vision, impulsive exits, we go to overmanagement, and freeze responses. Now, freeze responses is a situation whereby you don't know what to do, like you've completely frozen, like you're even trembling, like you don't know what to do exactly in this trade. You are sweating all over, you are so anxious, you're under that freeze responses. Now, apart from that, we also have overmanagement. Overmanagement is a situation whereby now you're trying everything possible not to lose this trade. So, for example, this trade here. So, for example, this trade right here. I start over managing, for example, my stop loss literally above here. Then I start putting it somewhere here. Then after a few minutes, I want to put this stop loss, adjust it more to this level. So assuming that I'm in a short in this position, I've engaged a short right there, and my stop loss right there. Then I'm targeting these lows down there. Okay. So this trade is currently moving, and I start over managing. Let's assume my entry was from this area here. Then I start by the so I keep on adjusting my stop loss. You find that I start putting my stop loss right there. Then after a few minutes, I adjust my stop loss again to that level. Then later on, I break even immediately, even this trade without being able to give me enough room for me to adjust stop losses. So I'm over managing these positions, and then as that goes on, I keep on adjusting my stop loss to this level, to this level, to this level, until it reaches a point there whereby these markets end up taking me out of management. Okay. Now, this is survival circuitry. Okay. It is not rational, analysis. And these always happen when you're under amygdala threat response, whereby you see possible loss, you see uncertainty in the markets, you see, lack of control, and so on. So you try anything possible, like your brain see it as a threat. So you're trying anything possible to be able to tackle this threat, and that's a problem. Now, let's go to the second one. Cortisol distorts decision quality. Now, under chronic trading stress, pattern recognition usually deteriorates. You cannot see it properly, and when also working memory, narrows. Then risk appears larger than it is. Then trade becomes more reactive. Like traders become more reactive rather than probabilistic. So in this scenario, you stop seeing setups and start seeing danger. Stress the moment you put your brain into that stress mode. Okay, you don't see anything. In fact, that setup that you'll only see that setup later on, guys. This happened to me a couple of times, and I believe a lot of traders are still going through this. When under stress, maybe for example, you're under stress because you entered too quick. You have that fear of missing out, or maybe you entered with such a huge risk. So you have that stress, you have that anxiety. Then pattern done doesn't even work anymore. Later on, you realize that you lost a trade that was a winning trade because you manipulated or you sabotaged your own entries or your own system. Okay, so you during under crystal, you find that you're going to be more reactive. than probabilistic. Okay. Now, when you go to uh, anxiety, sometimes it is misnamed arousal, whereby an important distinction, sometimes what you call fear is actually energy preparing for performance. So elite performers usually relabel it, and this is what they usually do. So whenever they feel or whenever they think that they're nervous, they they relabel that nervousness to like my system is primed. Okay. Now if they go under a situation whereby I might lose, they relabel that to risk is being processed. That is reframing. Okay. Now I want us to go to advanced neurological reframing techniques. So an anxious mind, first of all, when talk about threat to probability conversion, so an anxious mind asks, what if this trade fails? But a trained mind asks, what is the statistical expectation shift from emotional language to probabilistic language. So instead of I could lose money, you reframe this in a manner that this trade expresses a 60% edge over a sample size. Now, emotional shrinks when probability expands because emotions, most of the time, goes the opposite direction of probability. But when you think in probability, like you just reframe this, if you're asking yourself, I could lose money, but when you reframe it like this trade expresses a 60% age of a sample size, mean that this is just a one in the sample in the lake of the samples of many trades. So it is just one out of many trades. So it is a matter of probability. If this one loses, we take a look at the next one. So we have technique two. We have cognitive diffusion. Cognitive diffusion. Now, do not identify with anxious thoughts. For example, the market is against me. That's a bad thought. But when for you to diffuse that, for you to diffuse that thought, is that I am noticing a thought that the market is against me. You are noticing a thought. Okay. Now you step outside the thought, you observe it rather than obey it. Now this will weaken the neurological, grip, right? Now when you go to technique three, we have the outcome, collapse reframing, whereby in under this situation, the anxiety magnifies one loss into a catastrophe. Okay, but a reframe of a single trade inside a larger sequence, one trade is not destiny. It is not even in 100. Like it is just one trade or one event in 100 in hundreds. So, for example, if you lose one trade, you have 100 trades coming in. So that's just one out of 100. So this is not a definition of destiny. Like once you lose this trade now, that's the end of everything. No. The only problem with trade sometimes is that impatience. So we could not wait until the next, trade. So maybe because we were broke, or maybe we just wanted money, and now you end up, misbehaving because you cannot afford to lose. If you cannot afford to lose, then this game is not for you. Because the very, very first thing, when a trader comes to trading is you have to accept losses. Okay. Now, ask yourself this question: if I lose, for example, assuming that I'm shorting gold right here, assuming that I lose this gold, I lose this trade. Now, will this mean anything to me over the next 100 trades? Well, very little. It means very little. Like it affects nothing out of the 100. It is just one out of 100. So the anxiety will often disappears at large scale. Now, guys, I would like to talk more about this. This is just a part one of this lecture. There's more to it that I cannot really, go through it over here. But if you'd like me to upload more or to give you complete, lecture on this on this about transforming anxiety into focus through neurological reframing techniques and so on, just give me a comment below and let me know, and I'll see you in the next one. So, in the next video, I'm going to be doing market analysis for gold. What exactly we're expecting? Well, I'm expecting a drop to continue. I'm expecting a drop to continue, But I'm gonna do some analysis, and market outlook before the markets opens. And that's being said, let me see you in the next one.